Hi there, this is Chris Kellett with MuseGrid.com. Let's take a look at the EU's Cookie Widget. So here it is in our library. We've installed it using the MuseLib installer just by double clicking it or clicking on the file open or install. We're just going to drag the widget code onto the page here, and we have our preferences. There's a lot of preferences here, and we're just going to drop it at the top here. Now, it's not essential to do that, but we're just going to do that for neatness. Now, the default, let's take a look at that. If we preview the page in the browser, we can see that we have our cookie information pops up. And what happens? Well, if we click on the privacy policy, we can right click on that, or we can just, the customer would just click on that and go straight to our privacy policy. Or if we clicked on the I understand, that would close. And then if we hit, if we just, let's actually switch this to force cookie to show. There we go. File, preview in the browser again. So I understand, that's fine. If we refresh here, disable cookies, we can disable the cookies, or we can, there we go. So that's our basic setup for this widget, but we have, let's take a look at the options. Well, first off, let's change our theme to light. So we've changed that. Click on File, Preview page in the browser, and now we have this nice grey background with the black text. So we have a light and a dark theme built in there. We also have this is the text that goes into the cookie bar message, telling them about the cookies that you use and how you use them. The spacing, this is the padding around the text. Now if we switch that to large, my mouse is playing up here, File, Preview the page in the browser, we can see we have quite a bit more padding around the unit depending on how we want it to look, and we have a small version of that padding as well if you want it to be quite tight. We have the number of days that the cookie will be stored, and that is the cookie preferences for this particular site. We can switch off the decline button, that would switch the cookies off. We can switch on and off the policy link button. We can force the cookie to show. We can fix the position of the cookie bars. Now the other things that we have here is once we've selected those options, if we switch those off, we can see that those items are now switched off. So if we had the policy button there, we'd have the text for the button, we would have the link. We can also change how the unit closes. We can have it fade, we can just have it hide, or we can have it slide closed. And we can use the Z index. So we've set it to 2000, but if you have an item, the Z index is the layering on the page, the different parts of your page. If you found that the cookie bar was sitting behind some of your content when you scrolled up the page, you could set that to a higher amount. So 1 would be at the bottom, or 0 would be at the bottom, 10,000 would be at the top if you want to imagine it in layers. Then we have this, let's take a look at this fixed position. Now, if we switch that off in Muse, what happens is, if we preview that, you can see that it sits below where the margin is for the site, where the padding is. So we're going to switch the fixed on to make sure that it sits right at the top of the page. The other thing we can do, if we switch that to the fixed off and switch that to the base of the site instead, then when we preview, we can see that the cookie preference now sits at the bottom of the page instead. So we have the opportunity to change where we want that positioned, but usually it's a good idea to have it fixed at the top. So I'm going to stick that at the top there. And that's it for the cookie widget. So very easy to use, essential if you're using this in European sites in Europe. But please make sure that you check what your site requires. This is a tool, but you do need to make sure that all of these settings here are correct for your personal site. Don't just go with the defaults, make sure it's correct for your site. Thanks for watching.